All over Fiji, we can find stories of passionate individuals, people who have gone on to become teachers and dedicated their entire lives in the service of others. Today, here at Corpus Christi, we farewelled a gentleman who arguably is one of the oldest educators in Fiji.
Mother Teresa of Calcutta said, you know, God doesn't ask you to be successful, He asks you to be faithful. Do the job the best you can. Yeah, don't give up.
Brother Fergus Garret arrived in Fiji in 1970, and he has dedicated his life towards the advancement of Catholic education in Fiji until this very day. As he jokingly said during an interview with the Fiji Times this morning, that he is as old as independent Fiji itself. As Brother Fergus calls it a day here at Corpus Christi, his word of advice to teachers and future students of this institution who will be going out into the teaching field is to leave behind a proud legacy of Catholic education in Fiji.
I'm a country boy from the back blocks of Southland in New Zealand, where we had no telephone or radio or no TV, of course, and no piped water. We were really living a bit like village life in Fiji. And then, of course, I lost my father at the age of 6, and there were 6 of us children. My mother brought up with the help of her father in Christchurch. We were there by that time. Coming to Fiji was something very new, coming in to a very warm country, getting off the plane at 1 o'clock in Nandi, at 1 o'clock in the morning, and getting hit by heat waves from the tarmac was a shock. That was the introduction to Fiji. And then flying over to Suva and going straight into the classroom the same day to teach Marist Brothers High School. So this was the year 1970. So in fact, I am older than Fiji. Fiji was still a colony when I arrived, yeah. So I saw the flag go up down at the park and so forth. And my activities since then have been very varied. A few years at Marist Brothers High School, and then some study in Manila for a short time, 6-7 months, and then back into Fiji, looking after our training program for the Marist Brothers, the new brothers, and that lasted a few years, and then I was helping the Archbishop in the offices in Nicholas House for some years, as well as looking after the young brothers, new brothers, and this continued. I was doing a lot of writing in those days, writing commentaries for our scripture study programs that I was part of the team that went around Fiji promoting the gospel studies in the 1980s. But in 93, I was called to Kenya, to Nairobi, to help in the tertiary program for the Marist Brothers in Nairobi. That is very high altitude, temperature about 25, not much more. And I was there for nearly 5 years, and coming back through India, I was involved with Marist Brothers there for a few months. And so within, back in Suva, it was straight into the planning for our new school, Marist Champagne Institute, then 98, 99, and opening in 2000, not a very good year. We're still recovering from that year. and the end of 2006 that slowed us down because we haven't finished our building yet that was planned for 2000. So that we're hoping to finish it this year. It's going to cost, instead of the 250,000 for the first block, it's going to be more like 800,000 or 900,000 for our new block at Maris Champagne. That's where I hope to help out with some coaching of the staff and the students, because I am very interested in different kinds of learning exercises to help those students who have got learning problems and those who got behavior problems. So I have been doing counseling over the years, different situations, and with the brothers and others, and that's one of my interests. So I was at Maris Champagne full time and had 1 year in Samoa at a similar school for dropouts, and then got involved in 2004 with Renu Kishore and the early childhood program. So this is all history, and I've really been very interested in all those areas. We gave our program from Maris Champagne Institute, we gave it to Corpus Christi, but I kept on the staff with Renu. We just ran the same as before, but that was at Vatawanga, and then we moved to here, to the campus here at what's called Costello Cottage. So we moved in last year, and now the program is very popular. It's a national diploma, which is quite as unique as far as teacher training is concerned. All the other teacher training institutions, universities, and so on have their own program, but this is a national program. And so higher education are very strict on how it's run. So we are closely supervised by the Higher Education Commission in what we do there. So it's a bit sad to have to retire, but I chose the right time. I know my own body, mind, and spirit, and it's time to retire and do something less strenuous or whatever. Marist education, yes, okay. But when you look at people in high places and people doing important jobs around the country, you will find a lot of Marist old boys, not all Catholics, of course, because Marist High School is only about 50% or less of Catholic students, but there are that has been like that for a long time. Like when we had in the 60s before independence, there were half a dozen Marist old boys on the, what did they call it? So the governing council, I forget its name now, but I remember seeing the photo when I arrived. There was a photo up of these gentlemen with Ratumara and so on, another Marist old boy, who were members. Yeah, I mean, there are people like Isekeli Matai Tonga, whom I taught, and Neil Sharma, those well-known, all retired now. They retired before me. Yeah, so there's a lot of people in the administration, especially accounting area, because for a long time Marist was the only accounting, had the only accounting program for secondary, and that's why you find a lot of Marist old boys in Fiji Airways, for example, the administration, although probably retiring, some of them. Yeah, so and we have a number of influential ex-students also who are overseas and have, for example, one ex-student is living in London, paid for a whole classroom block at Marist Brothers Primary School, about 600,000 like that. He just wrote a check for that. So they're also up there, and others are doing good jobs in all kinds of occupations. I think the Marist education and perhaps Catholic education in general have been very innovative because the Catholic Church is only 10% of the population, very small, and yet you see how many schools we run and the way we run them. Yeah, that's very important things. So Catholic education has been, I think, very influential over the years. What am I thinking of here? Well, innovation, yeah. Like Marist Champagne Institute was the first to cater for secondary school special needs, and still is the only one at secondary level catering for special needs. And the ministry wants us to start up in the West, same thing, but it's very difficult because it comes from inspiration rather than perspiration, or perhaps mix of both. Yeah. So that's a little bit from what I see. Yeah. The commission is coming, consultations for the Act, and some very strong suggestions coming from the Marist education and for changes. Yeah. See, we have this problem of discipline because the teachers are not prepared for the situation where they are not allowed to use physical punishment of any kind. But that has been a thing that's worried me for a long time, because teachers don't relate to the students the way they ought to. They should be there not as the master and the mistress, but somebody who is their friend, their older brother, their older sister, helping them. It's not do what I tell you, it's how can I help you is the best question there. Yeah.
Can you just give us just some of your most memorable achievements, some of your most memorable moments?
Memorable.
Here in Corpus Christi throughout your career, just some of the highlights of your teaching career.
Teaching, well, first of all, I would say non-teaching was my trip up the Wanimala River, the end of 1970, to the Rokarokayawa, Korovo villages, where the children had never seen a European before. that was my start. Yeah, but the teaching memorable moments, of course, were 2000 when we had to close the school, and one student calling out, "Kill the Indians!" And then one student coming back from staying at the complex where Spate's group were, and saying the only mistake they made, they didn't kill Ratumara. These are realities, and the children were asked to write their thoughts about when they came back from the break, because the schools were closed. Came back from the break, we had debriefing, of course, to try to help them to cope, and part of that was writing what they experienced. And yeah, I mean, there's a eyewitness account of the killing of Nimaderi, for example, out at Nondonomai. One of our students was eyewitness to that, and that was really shocking. So that year there were many memorable moments, And again, other times, some of the some of the students who came to us, of course, had very, very painful experiences at home, either getting beaten by their father or having to cope with a drunken father and fighting parents and all this. And we had a number of students who were so full of anger with their parents that any little annoyance, they would take it out on whoever was annoying them, and it was all that anger built up against their parents. Those sorts of things are realities that we had to deal with, and there are several case studies I could go into, where the boy especially, they got so angry he could have killed somebody, and it was all because of his home. It wasn't because of what was happening at school. Yeah. So those memorable moments of all kinds, but mostly upsetting. But others, where students made very quick progress. Like one student we had who couldn't read very much, he finished up becoming a prefect at Marist Brothers High School and then got a scholarship to the United States somewhere. This big shoot through like that because got the chance, second chance, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all to do with connecting with the student, getting to know the student and being friends with the student. That is something, well, I will still be in touch with students at Marist Champagne. I hope to do what I can there with coaching and so on. But still, the group we have for early childhood, for example, really strongly academic, highly qualified academically, which is a different group altogether, and you connect on a different level than with the needy ones who are really struggling. So, but I will miss both of those. But the big thing about being a teacher, you must be able to connect, to form a relationship, to know the background of the student and to really understand why they are doing what they're doing, saying what they're saying, and so on, where it's coming from. Because otherwise, as one government minister said one time, all schools are the same, which is rubbish. One size does not fit everybody. Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a 4XL. It's not really 4XL. It's more like 3, but it wouldn't fit you, for example. One size does not fit all. You have to be individual, face the individual needs. That's what a teacher is all about. It's about relationship and the individual. You don't teach a subject, you teach persons. Yeah. Well, something that Mother Teresa of Calcutta said, God doesn't ask you to be successful, He asks you to be faithful. Do the job the best you can. Yeah. Don't give up.